I grew up in a small town in Pennsylvania where nothing ever happened. Everybody knew everybody, and if something strange did happen, the entire town heard about it before sunset. There was one place, though, that people avoided talking about. Not because it was secret, because everybody had their own version of what happened there. It was an abandoned nursing home just outside town called Blackthorn Care Center. The building shut down sometime in the late 90s after allegations of abuse and neglect. At least that's what the newspapers claimed. Older people in town had different stories. Some said patients disappeared. Others claimed nurses heard voices in empty rooms at night. When I was younger, I assumed it was just local folklore. Then, during my senior year of high school, I ended up inside that building. And I still regret it. It started during winter break. My friend Tyler had recently bought an old camcorder from a flea market because he wanted to start one of those ghost hunting YouTube channels. Back then, those videos were huge online. Tyler was obsessed with proving ghosts existed. Me, I just wanted something to do. So one Friday night around midnight, me, Tyler, and our friend Mason drove out to Blackthorn. The road leading there was barely visible under the snow. Trees crowded both sides of the road like giant black walls. About a mile before the building, Mason started getting nervous. "Dude, this road feels wrong," he muttered from the back seat. Tyler laughed. "Relax. Worst case scenario, we find raccoons." We finally saw the building through the trees. Even in the dark, it looked massive. 4 stories tall. Most of the windows were shattered. Part of the roof had collapsed inward. The faded sign near the entrance still barely read, Blackthorn Care Center. The parking lot was cracked and overtaken by weeds pushing through ice. I remember staring at the building and immediately wanting to leave. Not because I believed in ghosts, because abandoned places always felt like they were waiting for something. Tyler grabbed the camcorder. "Come on." The front entrance had plywood nailed across it, but one side had already been pried loose, meaning somebody else had been there recently. That bothered me more than anything paranormal. We stepped inside. The smell hit instantly, rot, mold, wet wood. The flashlight beams barely cut through the darkness. The lobby still had wheelchairs scattered around. An overturned desk. Peeling wallpaper hanging like strips of skin. Mason whispered, "Why does it feel warm in here?" That was true. Outside was freezing. Inside felt strangely humid. Tyler immediately started filming. This place was abandoned in 1997 after multiple investigations. A loud, metallic bang interrupted him somewhere upstairs. All 3 of us froze. We waited in silence. Tyler lowered the camera. That was probably part of the roof settling. Nobody answered. We continued deeper into the building. The hallways seemed endless. Patient rooms lined both sides. Some still had beds inside. One room had dried flowers sitting beside a mattress. Another had family photos scattered across the floor. It looked less abandoned and more suddenly left behind. Like people never got the chance to return. At the end of the hallway was a nurse's station. Tyler climbed behind the desk and started opening drawers. Most were empty. Then he stopped. "There's files in here." He held up a stack of patient records covered in dust. Mason leaned closer. "Take one." "Why?" "Because that's creepy as hell." Tyler laughed and stuffed one into his backpack. That was the exact moment everything started feeling wrong. Not scary, wrong. Like the building noticed us. As we moved toward the stairwell, I started hearing something faint. A squeaking noise, rhythmic, slow. At first I thought it was pipes. Then I realized what it sounded like. A wheelchair wheel turning, squeak, pause, coming from upstairs. Tyler heard it too. He smiled nervously. Okay, that's creepy. Mason whispered we should go. Instead, Tyler started climbing the stairs. I still don't know why we followed him. Maybe because none of us wanted to look scared. The second floor was darker than the first. Almost every room door was shut. The squeaking sound stopped the moment we stepped into the hallway. Complete silence. Then one door slowly creaked open by itself near the end of the corridor. Not dramatically, just enough. Tyler aimed the flashlight toward it. The room inside looked empty, but the door kept moving slightly, like someone had just let go of it. Mason grabbed my jacket. Bro, somebody's here. Tyler called out, hello. Nothing. Then from somewhere farther down the hallway, a soft humming sound, very low. An old woman humming to herself. Every hair on my arm stood up. The humming echoed through the hallway in a way that made it impossible to tell where it was coming from. Tyler whispered, you hear that, right? Before we could move, something slammed hard against a door nearby. Mason screamed. We all backed up instantly. Then came another slam. And another, like someone was throwing their body against the other side. Tyler finally lost his confidence. Okay, nope. We're leaving. We turned around and hurried back toward the stairs. That's when I saw her, standing at the far end of the hallway, tall, thin, wearing what looked like a nurse uniform. Her face was hidden in darkness. She wasn't moving, just standing there, watching us. Tyler's flashlight shook violently. Do you see that? Mason was already halfway down the stairs. The woman took one slow step forward. The humming stopped. Then the hallway lights flickered. Just once, but in that split second of darkness, she was suddenly much closer. Tyler shouted something I couldn't understand and bolted downstairs. I followed immediately. We practically fell down the steps trying to escape. By the time we reached the lobby, Mason was standing near the entrance, hyperventilating. What the hell was that? Tyler kept repeating, did you see her face? Did you see her face? I didn't. And honestly, I'm glad I didn't. We rushed outside into the snow. The freezing air felt unreal after the warmth inside. We got into the car and locked the doors immediately. Tyler tried starting the engine. Nothing happened. The battery was dead, what? It was working 10 minutes ago. Mason turned around suddenly. Guys standing inside the second floor window above us was the silhouette of the nurse. Completely still, watching the car. Tyler finally got the engine to turn over. The second it started, we sped out of there. Nobody spoke during the drive home. Not one word. The next morning, Tyler called me. He sounded different, shaky. He told me to come over immediately. When I got there, he already had the camcorder footage loaded onto his computer. At first, everything looked normal. The lobby, the hallways, us joking around. Then we reached the second floor footage. The humming could clearly be heard on camera. So could the slamming sounds. But that wasn't the worst part. When Tyler turned the camera toward the hallway where we saw the nurse, there was nobody there. No figure, no silhouette, nothing. Yet all three of us reacted in the video like we saw someone. Mason even screamed, she's moving. But the hallway on camera remained empty. I remember feeling sick watching it. Tyler paused the footage, then slowly zoomed into one of the dark door windows beside the hallway. At first, I didn't notice it. Then my stomach dropped. There was a face inside the glass. Not the nurse, something else. A pale face smiling unnaturally wide. Watching us. Neither of us remembered seeing that. Tyler rewound the footage several times. The face appeared in only one frame, then disappeared. We sat there in silence for what felt like forever. Finally, Tyler whispered we didn't leave fast enough. A week later, Mason refused to talk about Blackthorn anymore. Tyler became obsessed with the footage. He kept enhancing it, freezing frames, trying to debunk what we saw. Then one night he called me around 2 a.m. crying. I had never heard Tyler cry before. He told me somebody was outside his house. I drove there immediately. Police were already parked outside. Tyler sat on the curb wrapped in a blanket. One of the officers told me someone had been standing in Tyler's backyard for nearly an hour. Just standing there in the snow, not moving. Tyler only noticed because his motion light turned on. When he looked outside, he saw what appeared to be a woman in an old nurse uniform staring directly into his room. By the time police searched the backyard, nobody was there. But footprints remained in the snow. The terrifying part, the footprints stopped suddenly in the middle of the yard. Like whoever made them simply vanished. Tyler moved out of town 3 months later. Mason joined the military after graduation, and me. I avoided Blackthorn for years. Then in 2021, curiosity got the better of me. I searched the building online. That's when I learned something I wish I never found out. Back in 1997, shortly before the nursing home shut down, one of the nurses disappeared during a night shift. They never found her body. According to archived newspaper articles, several elderly patients claim they still saw her walking the hallways after she vanished, humming to herself. Late at night, the building was demolished in 2008. Nothing remains there now except an empty field. But sometimes I still think about that footage, about the smiling face in the glass, and about one detail I never told anyone. When we were running down the stairs that night, I heard footsteps following directly behind me. Not 3 sets, 4.